Hey everyone, I just decided that I wanted to do a little piece about Iron Man 3, having just seen it yesterday. A short little review. This is a Talking Heads piece, so no footage there. Consider this a little bit of filler, a little bit of a piece of bonus material or whatever. I really liked it. I still don't think it was quite as good as the first one, but it was way better than the second. Mind you, I've seen art house films that are way better than the second. That's not fair on art house, but you get what I mean. Stuff that's a little bit up its own arse. Iron Man 3, well shot. There was some beautiful visuals in there. Some very, it's something that I think a lot of the summer blockbusters miss, is the idea of telling the narrative through the visuals as well as just having the characters' conversations and so on. And Iron Man 3 actually does that really well. There's just little moments, little constructions of shots that actually communicate a lot more than just using words. And that's something that I wouldn't have expected, and it was there, and I was quite impressed by that. Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark remains bloody awesome. Gwyneth Paltrow's Pepper Potts, fine. I've never really been a big fan of the way that the films have portrayed the character, but it's fine. It's not terrible. I'm not going to wave around flaming torches screaming that they've ruined the character, because they haven't. It's a different take on the character, and it works. I prefer the original. The plot mostly makes sense. It twists and turns quite a bit, so you've got to follow it quite closely. But it works. There's a few little bits that don't make sense, but a movie is a manufactured narrative. There's always going to be flaws in something that's been manufactured like that. So, you can nitpick it, but it's not really worth nitpicking it. It creates a very good emotional investment. Those of you who've seen my video about Aliens, Colonial Marines will know how much importance I place on that. And it mainly does it through taking some very bold risks. What do I mean by that? Well, without getting into spoiler territory, it deals with certain elements of Tony Stark's character that are very difficult, I think, for your standard mainstream audience to really think about or get their heads around. Basically, it looks like he's starting to... The experiences in the Avengers film in New York have actually affected him quite deeply. And it's quite a bold move for just a summer blockbuster superhero film to acknowledge the idea of essentially post-traumatic stress. It's not played up that way. I think they would needed to be very careful about it, but it's basically inferred that this is what's going on with Tony Stark. He's suffering from random anxiety attacks, very severe anxiety attacks, and it's brought on whenever he has to think about what happened in New York. And it's quite bold to say that these sorts of conflicts, these sorts of challenges, this constant press of danger, doesn't really make you a hero. It's not a case of what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. This sort of constant battle and constant pressure, very few people will thrive in that situation. And virtually no one will be unchanged by it. And most people are changed for the worse by that sort of stress. They don't really develop it all that much, but it was nice to see that it was there. I think the film would have been a lot stronger if they'd added a bit more pathos to the whole idea, but the mere fact that it existed, I found quite fun. The action scenes, beautifully done. One thing Marvel Studios seems to be able to do really well is have these very intricate, chaotic, lots of movement, lots of high detail, and on paper, these sorts of scenes shouldn't work because it's just going to turn into a mess of colour. You look at some of the cutscenes from later on in Final Fantasy XIII, you'll see what I mean. There's just so much detail, so much movement, you can't track it, but somehow Marvel Studios pull it off, and they pull it off really well, so I'm quite impressed by that. You see a lot more of the Iron Man armour and a few of the Iron Man armour variants as well, so that was quite fun. The villain, the Mandarin, is done quite well without getting into spoilers. I can't tell you exactly what's going on there, but Ben Kingsley is fucking awesome. You've probably seen the trailers. If not, have a look at the trailers, because it's just Ben Kingsley being absolutely awesome. And he gets even better when you go and see the actual film. So yeah, all in all, very well done. Looked good, sounded good, managed to get strong emotional investment from the audience, or from me at the very least, through good characterization and actual character development. The acting was good, the action was good. The only real problem I have with it is that I got a sense that they were holding back. Little ideas like the post-traumatic stress was, they didn't develop it enough. And I know why. When you're making a movie like this, you have to satisfy your investors. You can talk about artistry, and you should talk about artistry, but there needs to be consideration of the fact that these films are a business, and you need to satisfy the investors. And I think making a big thing out of the idea of the stress and the pressures affecting Stark would have put investors off, would have put audiences off, and consequently would have lost money. Because the average person, I think, going to see these movies doesn't want to see a character study of a person having to deal with huge trauma in their lives. They want to see explosions and laser beams and rockets and mechs and that's fine. That's absolutely fine. I'm not casting any sort of judgment there. It's just I personally would have liked to have seen more of the character and less of the boom boom daka daka boom boom. So yeah, Iron Man 3 comes with a pretty strong recommendation. I think you should go see it. I think if you've enjoyed the first one, there's something to be had there. I think if you enjoy good character, there's something to be had there. It's not a masterpiece. I don't think it's nowhere near as good as the Avengers, but it's still a pretty damn solid movie. And I had a lot of fun watching it, and I think most other people would as well. So for now, I'm Evis T, signing off.